Sure, I'm meant to be somewhere. Sure, I'm meant to be doing something of value, something where I don't take from the world. Sure, I'm meant to be somewhere where I give something to the world. I've been looking for it for some time. And I think I'll probably die before I even get close to it. And yes, you're correct. I've been reading Bukowski in preparation for this show. Now, apologies. First of all, apologies. This was meant to be on Wednesday, but instead of an hour stream this morning, I did 2 hours and 41 minutes. That is an hour and 41 minutes into my work day. I'm now about to do a stream in the middle of my work day. Now, there was a rare, I'll say rare in terms of, it was rare recently because I know everyone's skint and I know of Christmas and furloughs and jobs laid off, but there was a rare financial generosity this morning. And I thought that's why I can carry on. Because if I'm not earning money in my day job, I'm getting a few quid here. And I thought, and I'm going to say this with my arms aloft, standing upright and making sure my dinger isn't hanging out the front of my shorts, stretching my arms back, I'm going to say that I thought this morning's stream was one of the best streams we've had in a long while. I'm not saying it was the best, because there's never a best, because there's context and there's change. But give me a 1 in the chat if you thought this morning's stream it had a standout quality, outstanding. Give me a 1 in the chat if you thought this morning's stream was outstanding. Relatively, within the confines of a Dangerfield early morning glorious House of Scrubbage stream. Let's see what people are saying. I think Moslab said something wonderful just there, and John. Ian Birthday Boy said chat has shat on his end. Well, you don't ever want anyone chatting shat on your end. So there's so many versions of meaning in those selection of words. Like, you want to be careful there. Stay out of that particular end of Glasgow, or you might be walking home like a duck. But that is some fantastic reviews, and there you go, Tony Sanchez. It was an incredible internet broadcast event. Well, the reason I'm asking you to validate that was because that's what I felt. I felt like, there was a period about a month and a half ago where I was getting emails every day, people saying today's stream was just next level, and people were saying it in the chat, and that was lovely. That was all lovely. But now and again, something along, and it had it all. It had a bit of comedy, it had some rants, it had some what I thought was clever insights. We give old Peterson a couple of slaps around the chops, and we even played a tune. If there's enough votes at the end, you might get another one from it, another Dangerfield classic. If you enjoyed the one that you want, you might get one at the end of this stream. Okay, so thank you, Rags. That's very nice. Oh, Robert said it was like sex without getting tired. That's just wanking, isn't it? Let's sort out this Twitcheroony. Now, when it comes to the grift with this one, I'll deal with them at the end because I'm going to be reading. It would be ridiculous to keep stopping. And I know there's going to be loads of donations. So I will deal with them all at the end, okay? Because that makes more sense. Now, the other thing is I'm not reading Bukowski's women in chapters or any sections or segments that he put into it. I'm just reading it until it gets to a bit where I feel my energy, my abilities, and the story itself have reached a point where it would hang on where it would seem to be a good time to stop. So you're going to get a bit more, but what I'm going to do is give you a little summary of where we were last time and a little overlap that I'll read as well, because I think that will make sense. So anyone who weren't here last time will get the idea. And I just want to remind anyone who wasn't here last time, Bukowski changed my life, not just as a person, but as a writer. And I said in the blurb, you know, he changed me as a person and a writer for the better and for the worse. You know, he had both positive and negative effects on my life and my writing. And I think those things are related too. And to just read Illuminatus say that he's never read Bukowski on the poll is just for someone who calls themselves a writer, I just can't cope with that. Because here's the thing. I was looking for a little edit of Bukowski talking, because the internet's full of them. Bukowski here, Bukowski there. And he's a broken, damaged old alcoholic man. And he sort of sits there and goes, life isn't what you want it to be. It's what it is, and no one wants what it is. They want what they want it to be. And that's why it's a waste of time. And you watch it and you think, yeah, nice sixth form angst. And then you get a bit from Barfly, where Mickey Rourke played him in one of the worst movies ever made about a literary hero. And I was looking for little bits out of that. And then I just stopped. And I thought, here's the problem. Here's the problem with what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find a soundbite. I'm trying to find a quote. I'm trying to find a phrase. I'm trying to find a line. And none of those were Bukowski's skills. Not were they only not his skills. They were his weaknesses. He was useless at it. He couldn't write like that. He didn't have that turn of phrase. He didn't have that touch of lyrical finesse. Far from it. Because you can't take Bukowski out of context. Not in the same way you can't take everyone else out of context. But the reason you can't take Bukowski out of context is because he's a storyteller. He's a raconteur. It's about the whole thing. It's about nice one, internet. Bukowski's work is the work. Bukowski's work is the context. Fucking hell, we got some low numbers. People really didn't enjoy that women last week, did they? Or maybe they thinking I was coming on a bit later. Anyway. So Bukowski's, there's no point grabbing all the lines and quotes. Look, there's one here. It's no good. It's no good. Mark said this. Well, Mark didn't, Bukowski did. Once a woman turns against you, forget it. They can love you, then something turns in them. They can watch you dying in a gutter, run over by a car, and then they'll spit on you. Bukowski from Women. It's crap. It's just rubbish. Because Bukowski is about the story. He's about the story because life is about the story. Life isn't about what happens. Life is about what is happening. And what is happening is engaging with what just happened and what's about to happen, as well as what's going on in the reader's brain, what is happening to the reader, what has happened to the reader, and what is going to happen to the reader. Bearing in mind the writer had what was going on, what was actually happening, and what was going to happen. Now, those contrived writers, those you know, your Kafkas, your Prousts, your usual suspects, you know, they paint with words. They paint with words. It's often said they paint with words. Don't want to see a fucking painting with words. I want to see a painting with paint. With words, I want to hear a story. That's what I want. And when I first read Post Office, for the first time in my life, I realised what a story was and what a story wasn't, and what life was and what life wasn't. And most of all, because I learned what a story was and what a story wasn't, and because I learned what life was and what life wasn't, the combination of those two things taught me one more thing. What death is and what death isn't. Charles Bukowski is an important figure in my life. Not that that should make you like him, but that's why I've chosen to dedicate a few streams to reading some of his work. So just to give you a summary of where we got to at the end of last time. Bukowski writes a book called Post Office. He works as a postal clerk. It's the most mundane job you ever heard of. Started off posting out letters, ended up just writing stuff down. Just drove him mad. Intelligent bloke doing the work of mules. So what he started doing was writing. His boss said to him one night, "You better write me a page or two on why you've been late coming to this office for the last 40 days. I want it on my desk in the morning." So Bukowski gets home, opens a fifth, drinks a few quarts. I'm using all the weird American alcohol terms. I don't even know what they mean. What is it, a quarter of whiskey? Anyway, drinks because he's a drinker. He's broken. And he writes something like 48 pages. Every single bit that happened. And he writes it in his style. You know, next thing that happened, silly old Magoo walked in, dragging his trousers round his feet like a regular street tramp and smelling like one too. Like his wife burped on his breakfast and he thanked her for it. You know, it's just Bukowski. And so in the morning, when his snobby boss went, "Have you got that report I asked you to write?" Bosh, all typed up. No computers. This was all typed, banged on his desk. There you go, sir. Done it. Anyway, lived on like no good jobs, shined shoes, cleared litter, worked in a post office, could barely afford his rent, drunk most of his money, published a book called Post Office, which was about his life in the post office. That was the kicker for me. You don't have to have had this life where you sailed a boat around the seas, where you sailed a boat to Australia, let off cannons, married the king's daughter. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be a Dostoevsky. You don't have to be a Tolstoy, although Bukowski did rather like Tolstoy. But you don't have to write remarkable, amazing things. You just have to write remarkably and amazingly. And that's how you tell a story. And when you can make a best-selling novel called Post Office about a bloke that worked in a post office, and trust me, next to nothing happens. Next to nothing happens. There's one controversial moment in it where he posts a letter. He's doing the rounds. It's that part of his job where he's posting letters. And this one woman keeps hassling him a little bit. And in the end, she invites him in. And he does nothing. Then she starts attacking him, scratching his face, throwing drink at him, smashing glasses over his head, screaming, "Rape, rape, rape." So he rapes her. And his point is, I'm getting done for this anyway. You know, I'm covered in booze. She got me pissed. She's scratched my face to pieces. She's telling everyone she's raped me. She's doing it so that when the old bill get here, it looks like I've raped her. And my attempts to get off her are going to be bruises around her neck and around her genital area. You bat that ball over the net like that, you get a swift backhand volley return. So a life-changing author for me. Not that I ever did anything like that, but I suddenly realised that there was after being put off literature from school intentionally by a globalist machine that wishes to make the European man stupid, and is doing quite well. That's why we get 75 people watching this stream. And making the European man weak, which is why we got about 58 for the stretching stream. Put up some random title that means nothing. Dangerfield's deluxe ice cream vendor, 180. That's no accident. I'm not complaining. Do I need to change my internet a bit? Do you want me to change my internet a bit? Or are we all right with this one? Oh, I've got to sort out my entropy, and I've got to get the grift on. Got to earn a few quid. Good Lord, the way things are going. Here we go. Thank you for reminding me. That was very kind of you. Thank you very much, Chrissy. Condolences to you as well, Nora. I found out late this morning about what had happened to you. So my best wishes and my thoughts go out to your family and yourself, of course. Yeah, there are, John. I'll get you hold of them. But I'll tell you what, read them yourself. That would be my way to suggest it. Good luck. Oh, God, hearing myself laugh back like Sid James weren't too good. Right, I would like some donations. That would be very kind of you. I work very hard to make this stream what it is. If you want to use Super Chat, it's the little $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Alternatively, and preferably, you can use entropy. And entropy is going to sound something like this. The entropy link is in the chat, but it's also in the description. So if you need it, use the description. And if you use entropy, our friend Susan at YouTube and all that lot, they don't get a farthing. They don't get a guinea. They do not get a penny. How are they making us stupid so I can counter it? Robert, it's what I talk about all the time. It's what I talk about all the time. Reading, learning, improving yourself, wearing clothes of our culture, stretching, accepting. It's what this channel's about. This channel is a proactive channel. You will not see videos of our people getting the shit kicked out of them from people from other cultures because we are not reactive. This is a proactive channel. If you really want ideas on how to counter it, hang around. I stream twice a day. That's exactly what I try and do. And it's not just me. I'm not just giving you information. It's a community. We do things together. We talk. We communicate. And we make things happen. Thank you very much, me old friend Meganese Shan, for the 100 ZAR. Nice stream, Danger. Relaxing on this hot African afternoon. Nice one, Robert Green. Oh, you wanted to know twice. Thank you, Robert, for the donation. Much appreciated. Chrissy dropped £3. And she said, no dollar for screw YouTube, fartin. There you go. I'll give you I'll give you the medley. Don't work so well with that short one, does it? But thank you very much. Yeah, we could do a few more thumbs up. But anyway, lay yourselves back, get a cup of tea, do what you have to do to get comfortable. And have a consideration. Don't think I don't like this geezer or I do like this geezer, because the geezer wrote loads of books, loads of poetry. Just think about the story. So here's the summary. He's suddenly got a bit of money about him because post office has made a bit of money. And then he wrote a book called Factotum, which was the period when he was slowly making a bit of money, but not enough to quite live on. So he was still working in shitty jobs. But now he's suddenly becoming known as Charles Bukowski. In the books, it's Henry Chinaski or Hank. But by the time he writes Women, he's an established, what would you call it? What's the word? Good Lord, the old brain ain't working. He is an established, stereotypical American drunk writer. And the women love it. The women absolutely love it. But Bukowski, who famously said he was still fucking at age 70, can barely get it up. Hardly had a fuck until he got famous off the back of post office. Who's going to go and fuck a man who can't earn enough money to pay to clean his teeth, wakes up and pukes every morning before knocking back a shot of whiskey? And by a shot, I mean like a pint glass. Suddenly, when you got a bit of money, it's all a little bit romantic, that alcoholism, isn't it? When I was a junkie, a street junkie, no one wanted to know. Hanging around train stations in your Reebok classics, snivelling snot off your nose. And then miraculously, You set up a business and it starts pulling in 3, 4, 5 grand a day. You're still a junkie, but all of a sudden there's women everywhere. So Bukowski is slowly learning that this being a famous writer stroke poet is bringing women towards him. And he meets a bird called Lydia. And she stays over at his house. And rather awkwardly, they have a little bit of a ding dong. And that's where we got to last time. We got to the end of the ding dong. So I'll read that bit again, and then we'll go on, and the time is now 25 past. We'll see how it goes. Hello, Ralph. Like I said, I'd appreciate some donations, and I will deal with them after. Or you can just leave them to after and then bang them all in, and we can chat about them then. I will pause occasionally to drink some water. And I don't put on any kind of weird voice. You're not going to get me going, it was 6 a.m. and the A train the smoke came out of the grill like the whole goddamn city was about to blow. No, you're getting Chris Dangerfield, because I can do that one the best. So I'm going to take the risk of leaving the water off of the bottle. Yeah, that could be dodged. And we will just overlap. We will read the end of what we read last time. Don't say I've got rid of it. Good Lord. Oh, here we are. Make yourself comfortable. Excuse me, picking my nose, preparing for a reading. How do I make it a bit bigger? I want the letters about that big. So here we go, people. Charles Bukowski's Women, book that changed my life. And we have read this bit. You're going to get about 15 lines we read before. Let me just find a relevant bit to go. So Lydia, this bird that Bukowski's sniffing about, she's got this fella, Sammy. A few of them come back to Lydia's house because Bukowski done a reading. And he was a celebrity, and he never knew what it was like to be a celebrity. People were going, yeah, Bukowski, yeah. And so there was a few people sitting around Lydia, Sammy, a few others, Randy Evans. Anyway, here we go. Hang on, let me just get you back there. Hang on, where's the best bit? So they're having this party, right? What do you do? Said Sammy. What you do, said Sammy, is throw a collating party. You serve drinks and a little bullshit and let them do the work. I hate parties, I said. I'll do the inviting, said Sammy. All right, I said, and I invited Lydia. The night of the party arrived with the sheets already collated. He was a nervous sort of a head tick, and he hadn't been able to wait to see his own poems in print. He had collated the laxative approach all by himself, and then stapled the covers on. Kenneth Mallock was not to be found. He was probably either in jail or had been committed. People arrived. I knew very few of them. I walked to my landlady's in the back court. She came to the door. I'm having a big party, Mrs. O'Keefe. I want you and your husband to come. Plenty of beer, pretzels and chips. Oh my God, no. What's the matter? I've seen the people going in there. Those beards and all that hair and those raggedy ass clothes, bracelets and beads. They look like a bunch of communists. How can you stand people like that? I can't stand those people either, Mrs. O'Keefe. We just drink beer and talk. It doesn't mean anything. You watch them. That kind will steal the plumbing. She closed the door. Lydia arrived late. She came through the door like an actress. The first thing I noticed was a large cowboy hat with a lavender feather pinned to the side. She didn't speak to me, but immediately sat down next to a young bookstore clerk and began an intense conversation with him. I began drinking more heavily, and some of the drive and humour left my conversation. The bookstore clerk was a good enough sort, trying to be a writer. His name was Randy Evans. But he was too far into Kafka to accomplish any kind of literary clarity. We had published him in the laxative approach rather than hurt his feelings, and also to get distribution for the magazine through his bookstore. I drank my beer and wandered around. I walked onto the back porch, sat on the stoop in the alley and watched a large black cat trying to get into a garbage can. I walked down towards him. He leapt off the garbage can as I approached. He stood 3 or 4 feet away watching me. I took the lid off the garbage can. The stench was horrible. I puked into the can. I dropped the lid onto the pavement. The cat leapt up, stood all 4 feet together upon the rim of the can. He hesitated, then, brilliant under a half moon, he leapt into it all. Lydia was still talking to Randy, and I noticed that under the table one of her feet was touching one of Randy's. I opened another beer. Sammy had the crowd laughing. I was a little better at it than he was when I wanted to get the crowd laughing, but I wasn't very good that night. There were 15 or 16 men and 2 women, Lydia and April. April was on ATD and fat. She was stretched out on the floor. After an hour or so, she got up and left with Carl, a burnt-out speed freak. That left 15 or 16 men and Lydia. I found a pint of scotch in the kitchen, took it out onto the back porch and had a bite now and then. The men began leaving gradually as the night went on. Even Randy Evans left. Finally, there was only Sammy, Lydia and myself. Lydia was talking to Sammy. Sammy said some funny things. I was able to laugh. Then he said he had to go. Please don't go, Sammy, said Lydia. Let the kid go, I said. Yeah, I gotta go, said Sammy. After Sammy left, Lydia said, you didn't have to drive him away. Sammy's funny. Sammy's really funny. You hurt his feelings. But I want to talk to you alone, Lydia. I enjoy your friends. I don't get to meet all kinds of people the way you do. I like people. I don't. I know you don't, but I do. People come to see you. Maybe if they didn't come to see you, you'd like them better. No, the less I see them, the better I like them. You hurt Sammy's feelings. Oh shit, he's gone home to his mother. You're jealous. You're insecure. You think I want to go to bed with every man I talk to. No, I don't. Listen, how about a little drink? I got up and mixed her one. Lydia lit a long cigarette and sipped at her drink. You sure look good in that hat, I said. That purple feather is something. It's my father's hat. Won't he miss it? He's dead. I pulled Lydia over to the couch and gave her a long kiss. She told me about her father. He died and left all 4 sisters a bit of money. That had enabled them to be independent and had enabled Lydia to divorce her husband. But also, she told me she'd had some kind of breakdown and spent time in a madhouse. I kissed her again. Look, I said, let's lay down on the bed. I'm tired. To my surprise, she followed me into the bedroom. I stretched out on the bed and felt her sit down. I closed my eyes and could tell she was pulling her boots off. I heard one boot hit the floor, then the other. I began to undress on the bed. I reached up and shut off the overhead light. I continued undressing. We kissed some more. How long has it been since you've had a woman? 4 years. 4 years? Yeah. I think you deserve some love, she said. I had a dream about you. I opened your chest like a cabinet. It had doors. And when I opened the doors, I saw all kinds of soft things inside you. Teddy bears, tiny fuzzy animal, all these soft cuddly things. Then I had a dream about this other man. He walked up to me and handed me some pieces of paper. He was a writer. I took the pieces of paper and looked at them, and the pieces of paper had cancer. His writing had cancer. I go by my dreams. You deserve some love. We kissed again. Listen, she said, after you stick that thing inside me, pull it out just before you come, okay? I understand. I climbed on top of her. It was good. It was something happening, something real. And with a girl 20 years younger than I was, and really, after all, beautiful. I did about 10 strokes and came inside of her. She leapt up. You son of a bitch, you came inside of me. Lydia, it's been so long. It felt so good. I couldn't help it. It sneaked up on me, honest to Christ. I couldn't help it. She ran into the bathroom and let the water run into the tub. She stood in front of the mirror running a comb through her long brown hair. She was truly beautiful. You son of a bitch. God, what a dumb high school trick. That's high school shit. And it couldn't have happened at a worse time. Well, we're shack jobs now. We're shack jobs now. I moved towards her in the bathroom. Lydia, I love you. Get the hell away from me. She pushed me out, closed the door, and I stood in the hall, listening to the bath water run. That's where we got to last time. And we've got 95 people. Lovely. I didn't see Lydia for a couple of days, although I did manage to phone her 6 or 7 times during that period. Then the weekend arrived. Her ex-husband, Gerald, always took the children over for the weekend. I drove up to her court about 11 a.m. that Saturday morning and knocked. She was in tight blue jeans, boots, orange blouse. Her eyes seemed a darker brown than ever. And in the sunlight, as she opened the door, I noticed a natural red in her dark hair. It was startling. She allowed me to kiss her, and then she locked the door behind us, and we went to my car. We had decided on the beach, not for bathing, it was midwinter, but for something to do. We drove along. It felt good having Lydia in the car with me. That was some party, she said. You call that a collating party? That was a copulating party. That's what that was, a copulating party. I drove with one hand and rested the other on her inner thigh. I couldn't help myself. Lydia didn't seem to notice. As I drove along, the hand slid down between her legs. She went on talking. Suddenly she said, "Take your hand off, that's my pussy." "Sorry," I said. Neither of us said anything until we reached the parking lot of Venice Beach. "You want a sandwich and a Coke or something?" I asked. "All right," she said. We went into the small Jewish delicatessen to get the things, and we took them to a knoll of grass that overlooked the sea. We had sandwiches, pickles, chips, and soft drinks. The beach was almost deserted, and the food tasted fine. Lydia was not talking. I was amazed at how quickly she ate. She ripped into her sandwich with a savagery, took large swallows of Coke, ate half a pickle in one bite, and reached for a handful of potato chips. I am, on the contrary, a very slow eater. Passion, I thought. She has passion. "How's that sandwich?" I asked. "Pretty good." I was hungry. "They do make good sandwiches. Do you want anything else?" "Yes, I'd like a candy bar." "What kind?" "Oh, any kind, something good." I took a bite of my sandwich, a swallow of Coke, put them down and walked over to the store. I brought 2 candy bars so that she might have a choice. As I walked back, a tall black man was moving toward the knoll. It was a chilly day, but he had his shirt off and he had a very muscular body. He appeared to be in his early 20s. He walked very slowly and erect. He had a long, slim neck and a gold earring hung from the left ear. He passed in front of Lydia, along the sand on the ocean side of the knoll. I came up and sat down beside Lydia. "Did you see that guy?" she asked. "Yes." "Jesus Christ, here I am with you. You're 20 years older than I am. I could have something like that. What the hell's wrong with me?" "Look, here's a couple of candy bars. Take one." She took one, ripped the paper off, took a bite, and watched the young black man as he walked along the shore. "I'm tired of the beach," she said. "Let's go back to my place." We remained apart for a week. Then one afternoon I was over at Lydia's place and we were on her bed kissing and Lydia pulled away. "You don't know anything about women, do you?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, I can tell by reading your poems and stories that you just don't know anything about women." "Tell me more." "Well, I mean, for a man to interest me, he's got to eat my pussy. Have you ever eaten pussy?" "No." "You're over 50 years old and you've never eaten pussy?" "No." "It's too late." "Why?" "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." "Sure you can." "No, it's too late for you. I've always been a slow starter." Lydia got up and walked into the other room. She came back with a pencil and a piece of paper. "Now, look, I want to show you something." She began to draw on the paper. "Now, this is a cunt. And here is something you probably don't know about. The clit. That's where the feeling is. The clit hides, you see. It comes out now and then. It's pink and very sensitive. Sometimes it will hide from you and you'll have to find it. You just touch it with the tip of your tongue." "Okay," I said. "I've got it." "I don't think you can do it, I tell you. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Let's take our clothes off and lay down." We undressed and stretched out. I began kissing Lydia. I dropped from the lips to the neck, then down to the breasts. Then I was down at the belly button. I moved lower. "No, you can't," she said. "Blood and pee come out of there. Think about it. Blood and pee." I got down there and began licking. She had drawn an accurate picture for me. Everything was where it was supposed to be. I heard her breathing heavily, then moaning. It excited me. I got hard on. The clit came out, but it wasn't exactly pink. It was purplish pink. I teased the clit. Juices appeared and mixed with the cunt hairs. Lydia moaned and moaned, and then I heard the front door open and close. I heard footsteps. I looked up. A small black boy about 5 years old stood beside the bed. What the hell do you want? I asked him. You got any empty bottles? He asked me. No, I don't have any empty bottles, I told him. He walked out of the bedroom into the front room, out of the front door, and was gone. God, said Lydia. I thought the front door was locked. That was Bonnie's little boy. Lydia got up and locked the front door. She came back and stretched out. It was about 4 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. I ducked back down. Lydia liked parties, and Harry was a party giver. So we were on our way to Harry Ascot's. Harry was the editor of Retort, a little magazine. His wife wore long see-through dresses, showed her panties to the men, and went barefoot. The first thing I liked about you, said Lydia, was that you didn't have a TV in your place. My husband looked at TV every night and all weekend. We even had to arrange our lovemaking to fit the TV schedule. Another thing I liked about your place was it was filthy. Beer bottles all over the floor, lots of trash everywhere, dirty dishes, and a shit ring in your toilet, and the crud in your bathtub, all those rusty razor blades lying around in the bathroom sink. I knew that you'd eat pussy. You judge a man according to his surroundings, right? Right. When I see a man with a tidy place, I know there's something wrong with him. And if he's too tidy, he's a fag. We drove up and got out. The apartment was upstairs. The music was loud. I rang the bell. Harry Ascot answered the door. He had a generous and gentle smile. Come in, he said. The literary crowd was in there drinking wine and beer, talking, gathered in clusters. Lydia was excited. I looked around and sat down. Dinner was about to be served. Harry was a good fisherman. He was a better fisherman than he was a writer, and a much better fisherman than he was an editor. The Ascots lived on fish while waiting for Harry's talents to start bringing in some money. Diana, his wife, came out with the plates of fish and passed them around. Lydia sat next to me. Now, she said, this is how you eat fish. I'm a country girl. Watch me. She opened that fish. She did something with her knife to the backbone. The fish was in 2 neat pieces. Oh, I really like that, said Diana. Where did you say you were from? Utah. Mule's Head, Utah. Population 100. I grew up on a ranch. My father was a drunk. He's dead now. Maybe that's why I'm with him. She jerked a thumb at me. We ate. After the fish was consumed, Diana carried the bones away. Then there was chocolate cake and strong, cheap red wine. Oh, this cake is good, said Lydia. Can I have another piece? Sure, darling, said Diana. Mr. Chinaski, said a dark-haired girl from across the room. I've read translations of your books in German. You're very popular in Germany. That's nice, I said. I wish they'd send me some royalties. Look, said Lydia, let's not talk about literary crap. Let's do something. She leapt up and did a bump and grind. Let's dance. Harry Ascot put on his gentle and generous smile and walked over and turned up the stereo. He turned it up as loud as it would go. Lydia danced around the others around the room, and a young blonde boy with ringlets glued to his forehead joined her. They began dancing together. Others got up and danced. I sat there. Randy Evans was sitting next to me. I could see he was watching Lydia too. He began talking. He talked, and he talked, and he talked. Thankfully, I couldn't hear him. The stereo was too loud. I watched Lydia dance with the boy with the ringlets. Lydia could move it. Her movements lurked upon the sexual. I looked at the other girls and they didn't seem to be dancing that way. But I thought, that's only because I know Lydia and I don't know them. Randy kept on talking even though I didn't answer. The dance ended and Lydia came back to me and sat down next to me. Ooh, I'm pooped. I think I'm out of shape. Another record dropped into place and Lydia got up and joined the boy with the golden ringlets. I kept drinking beer and wine. There were many records. Lydia and the boy danced and danced and danced. Centre stage as the others moved around them, each dance more intimate than the last. I kept drinking the beer and drinking the wine. A wild, loud dance was in progress. The boy with the golden ringlets raised both hands above his head. Lydia pressed against him. It was dramatic, erotic. They held their hands high over their heads and pressed their bodies together, body against body. He kicked his feet back one at a time. Lydia imitated him. They stared into each other's eyes. I have to admit they were very good. The record went on and on and on, and finally it ended. Lydia came back and sat down next to me. I'm really pooped, she said. Look, I said, I think I've had too much to drink. Maybe we ought to get out of here. I've watched you pouring it down. Let's go. There'll be other parties. We got up to leave. Lydia said something to Harry and Diana. When she came back, we walked together towards the door. As I opened it, the boy with the golden ringlets come up to me. Hey man, what do you think of me and your girl? You're okay. When we got outside, I began vomiting. All the beer and all the wine came up. It poured and splattered into the brush, across the sidewalk, a gusher in the moonlight. Finally, I straightened up and wiped my mouth with my hand. That guy worried you, didn't he? She asked. Yes. Why? It almost seemed like a fuck. Maybe better. It didn't mean anything. It was just dancing. Suppose I grabbed a woman on the street like that. Would music make it all right? You don't understand. Each time I finished dancing, I came back and sat down next to you. Okay, I said. Wait a minute. I puked up another gusher on somebody's dying brush. We walked down the hill out of the Echo Park district towards Hollywood Boulevard. We got into the car. It started and we drove west down Hollywood towards Vermont. You know what we call guys like you? Asked Lydia. No. She said, we call them party poopers. And that's the end of this next section of Bukowski's Women. Let me see. I think I've got a couple of entropies. I got two. Well, before we go through them, I'll give you a bit more time. I want to go through some of the comments and see what people think. See what people who've never encountered Bukowski before make of it. Your voice is unique enough. Hadrick says woman. Okay. Stephen Campbell, Lydia, come on guys. Did no one else play Skyrim? How did we go from Bukowski to 50 Shades of Grey? What a fantastic question. What a fantastic question. You know what, Nora? Let me have some water, and I'm gonna tip you on an essay to read. I've talked about it on this channel before, but that will happen after 5 years of 2 videos a day, or however many. Thank you, people, for those donations coming in. I will deal with them all, and it really is appreciated. It's hard work reading for 55 minutes. There's an excellent book. He's a Marxist, but I've noticed a lot of dissident right people are getting into what were traditionally known as leftist writers like Adorno and Foucault, and even things like the culture industry. And it's no surprise, because the way the culture industry is being used to replace the European people is all there in Adorno. It's all there in that Jewish intellectual. And I think I've said this before. When I mention the Frankfurt School, dissident right people, they literally laugh at me. And again, I'm like, well, if you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, crack on. But these blokes were fucking intelligent. They got a lot of stuff wrong, but they got as much stuff wrong as they got right. Anyway, this book, Frederick Jameson, Nora, you'll love this. It's called The Cultural Logic of Late... Oh, hang on. Yeah, The Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism. And the opening essay in the book's like that. So, you know, maybe just get the first essay. The Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism. And he starts off by looking at a painting done by Van Gogh, or for our American brothers and sisters, Van Gogh, of a pair of peasant shoes. I'll show you it. Very famous painting of a pair of peasant shoes. I'm just going to make it so that I can show you it bigger on my old software rather than... And I'll get the other image up at the same time so that we don't have to mess around. Because we've still got a lot to say, because questions like Laura's absolutely bring up the kind of things that are brought up in literature, and why I'm reading Bukowski in 2021. So what I'm going to do is that, and then I'm going to... right. So Nora asks this question: how did we go from Bukowski to 50 Shades of Grey? Bukowski is about an alcoholic tramp poet who can't see his way around a woman, who ends up with very strong women. That's the story. 50 Shades of Grey is about a multi-billionaire who finds a woman who he can do what he wants to because she's into him dominating her. I mean, in a hashtag Me Too environment, it almost sends you insane, doesn't it? But if you have a look at this is Van Gogh's peasant shoes painting, oil on canvas. No, it ain't. That ain't what it's going to be. It's going to be this one. Excuse me, people. I'm working so hard. I'm fucking shafted. Sorry about the language as well. So this is Van Gogh's peasant shoes. They're actually a pair of peasant shoes. Now, your art critic is going to say it's in the post-impressionist style, but it wasn't a style when it was done. It's an oil painting of a pair of peasant shoes. A pair of everyday shoes that the majority of the people of the world of the modern world wore. They were leather. They were cheaply put together. They had laces, and there you go, a pair of peasant shoes. 100 years later, I think they were painted about, I'm guessing, but probably about 1905, same year as the interpretations of dreams came out. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I've still got that information up on the screen. Yes, I have. I'll just see how far out of date I was. What did I say? 1905. Fuck me. Hang on. 1886. So what's that? 20 years out of date. Right? So those pictures, that picture, those things were painted 140 years ago. Now I'm going to show you a different picture. I've already got the picture, but I want to get the date, which I should have done the first time. Okay. Couldn't have been a better date. Okay. Right. Get rid of that. Get rid of that for now. So this next picture I'm going to show you. This picture was painted, and by the way, didn't say painted in the Saatchi gallery. It said executed. This painting was executed. And executed has quite a nice double meaning when it comes to art. It was executed, and art was executed. So 100 years after Van Gogh takes a very everyday item that very poor people wore, essentially to work. Essentially, they wore them to work. Very banal, very mundane. Tried to make something beautiful out of something painful. Almost exactly 100 years later, Andy Warhol executed this picture, which is called Diamond Dust Shoes. And they're basically flashy designer brand ladies' stilettos and court shoes. Screen printed. And it's called Diamond Dust Shoes. And when you say to me, Nora, how did we get from Bukowski to 50 Shades of Grey? In what? When was Bukowski writing? Late 70s, 80s? Started? So we're going 80s. Let's say mid 70s. 85. 95. 205. 15. So let's say about 60 years apart. Look at the difference between those and the Van Gogh one. The Van Gogh one, who tried to make something beautiful out of something banal and mundane and painful. And then Andy Warhol screen printed it. Made a simulation, made a copy, sold copies. Didn't sell an original because there wasn't an original. There was only ever copies. There you can see the pair of them. There was only ever copies because that's what you do when you screen print. You print. And now I'll give you a third example of how did we get from A to B. So how did we get from Bukowski to 50 Shades? How did we get from peasant shoes to diamond dust shoes? Now the third one that was asked by Foucault in Discipline and Punish. How in Discipline and Punish did we get a man who was found guilty of treason, have his hands tied to horses and his legs tied to horses, put on the scaffold, and the whole town, hundreds of, well, probably at the time about 30,000 people, had to be 30,000, they all came round to watch as this bloke was tortured. He was cut and they put sulphur in his wounds so that he could feel more pain. And this is what they mean by drawn and quartered. They're gonna whip those horses, and those horses are gonna bolt, and they're gonna yank the arms off that bloke who's got a rope round his neck as well. So when those arms get yanked off, when those legs get yanked off, he's then gonna hang with no arms and no legs. And in the first sort of 10 pages of Discipline and Punish by Foucault, you've got the diary of a bloke called Damons who witnessed it. He was there watching it. This isn't some historical document where word of mouth and someone guessed it. This geezer wrote it down. He wrote about how they went onto the stage and a man dressed in black tied the ropes around his shoulders and pulled them to make sure they wouldn't come off. He talked about how there were women in the front row weeping because it was their son on this scaffold. He talked about the way these thousands of people who'd come from all the villages all around to cheer at this bloke. Yeah, kill him, punish him. He's a treason, it was treason. I think he stole an apple or something, by the way. Now, when they whipped those horses to take those legs off first, no, it was the arms first. They whipped those horses ran. Didn't work. Didn't pull his arms off. Couldn't do it. So they've had to try again. This geezer's now in agony. You want to talk about a fucking dislocated shoulder? They've done it again. Whip him again. Nah. So now they've got an axe and they're hacking away into his shoulders to make him weaker so that the horses might finally get it off. Third time, nah. Bit more claret everywhere. They couldn't do it. The horses couldn't pull this man apart. In the end, I think, if I remember rightly, they just stuck his head in a box and chopped his neck off. But hello, my back. The same can in about 100 years. How do we pez off to diamond dust shoes? How do we go from Bukowski to 50 Shades of Grey? And then as Foucault asks, how do we go from punishment of a criminal being a public spectacle where all the people from everywhere come to watch? It's the Saturday morning entertainment. They've come to watch a man have his legs and arms ripped off by running horses. And when that don't work, they're going to hack away at his ligaments. And then in about the same time, it took Andy Warhol's picture to become, it took Van Gogh's picture to become Andy Warhol's, and it took Bukowski to become 50 Shades. How comes we had this public spectacle of punishment? How are people punished now? In little white rooms that are out of the way. No one sees how we punish people now. They're in little rooms. They're in these institutions out in the middle of nowhere. High fences, small windows. You're not allowed to take photos in them. You're not allowed to take films in them unless you get permission. And even then, sometimes they blur them out. What does that say about a society? What does it say about a society that punishment, and the point here isn't about whether we should punish people. The point is about how does punishment go from a public spectacle to something that goes on in little rooms in the middle of nowhere, like what happened to Pepsi Watson. How does art, the fruit of our cultural tree, go from a beautiful painting of an everyday object of love and struggle to a screen print of some sexy ladies' shoes? And how do we go from a drunk man whose life is broken and a woman trying to repair him to a multi-millionaire whipping the shit out of this woman who's got absolutely no self-value? And we have to ask ourselves, what does that say about our culture? What do those changes say about what we've become as a people? And when we go back to this morning's video and we look at the Jordan Peterson thing, and when Jordan and his mate are saying everything's getting better, people are being lifted out of poverty, this is happening, people are getting telephones, people are getting this is happening. Yeah, but while all that's happening, Bukowski is becoming 50 Shades. Van Gogh's peasant shoes are becoming a screen print of some fucking black and white stilettos, and someone being tortured on a I can't even remember what it's called now. But that public spectacle is now become hidden in little rooms. So all these gains we're making, there's a lot of sacrifices being made for these gains. And so there we get back to what we've been talking about for the last 4 weeks on this channel. The difference between what's actually happening and what we're being told is happening. What's actually being presented as our existence and the actual lived experience that goes on underneath in the dregs, in the filthy underbelly of that society. It's a great question, Nora. You really nailed it. And that's why literature's amazing. And that's why art's amazing. Because it gives you the ability to understand the political, social, cultural, and historical context of an era that will usually be dominated by those in power. Because those in power don't want the story told. They don't want the truth told, because it will shine them in a bad light, because they're conniving scoundrels. And art will allow us to swerve that. Art will allow us to style our way through that. Art and literature will allow us to tell those stories. And the difference between stories, the difference between those stories told express the truth between those realities lived. I hope you enjoyed that reading tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the little analysis afterwards. I will now go through the I missed a couple of super chats. I'll do them, and then there's a few entropies. Still time. Chris Holloway, bless you. Always good supporter of this channel. Thank you very much, Chris. What? John Manimoo. Thank you, John. I mean, me and you disagree on a lot, you know, John. We tend to disagree on a lot. And I think that's one of the cool things about the House of Scrubs. Keep it respectful. Disagree as much as you want, but just keep it respectful. As long as we both intend to learn from each other, it doesn't matter. And you also donate a fair amount as well. So nice one. Appreciate it, John. Were there any more super chats down there, or do we go to the entropy? Well, we go to the entropy. I'll do it over here so we can see it. How do I do this? Oh, you lucky bleeders! We'll do a little vote, and we'll see if you want another Dangerfield song like we had this morning. Okay, so we'll do all of these again. Chrissy dropped 3 and said, no dollar for screw YouTube, farting. Ra of Sunshine dropped a cockle. Thank you, mate. Grego said, cheers for the Bukowski readings. Great stuff. Thank you, Grego. We'll have the third section next week. We'll do the whole of women. We'll read the whole of women. Don't worry about that. Tony Sonche drops Phil Saliva. Great reading, Mr. D. You'll have to do the audio book of your novel. That's a lovely thing. It'll have to be anyway. It'll have to be, because what will happen is I'll start improvising. And that isn't an option for someone who didn't write the novel. Well, it is, but it'll be fucking ridiculous. Sorry, excuse the language. Chrissy R dropped another 3. That was referring to you doing a different voice for reading. Really enjoying you reading this. Nice one, Chrissy. Then Grego drops another 3. An intellectual says a simple thing in a hard way. An artist says a hard thing in a simple way. Yeah, they're not. I don't know, Gregor. I don't know about. I think Bukowski's all about the story. You can put a couple of quotes around the sides of it, but you know, I don't know. But I appreciated you giving it a go anyway. Right, so okay. Thank you all for your donations. Much appreciated. Now, I played a song from the back catalogue earlier. Give me a 1 in the chat if you want another song now. It won't be live, it'll be off of the recording. Or give me a 2 if you don't want one. 1 if you want to hear another song from the back catalogue. 2 if you don't. I got you, Chrissy. I got it. Don't worry, love. Check Twitch. What the hell's going on with Twitch? Something's going on. It's playing up, mate. What the hell is going on with Twitcher? What's going on with it, man? Hang on a minute. Hang on. Okay. Ian Marr says, Chris Dangerfield, can you please thank Sergeant Sayre for me live? I just received my card from her and Wolfie. It was lovely. I am really touched. They are a lovely couple and have been there for me in dark times. There you go. There you go. So, Sergeant Sayre, if you didn't get that, this is a live thank you for Sayre to Sayre. He just received his card from her and Wolfie. It was lovely. He's really touched. They're a lovely couple and they've been there for him in dark times. So there you go. And Jez has just dropped a cockle and said, thanks for a good reading. Thank you, Jez. It's just a bit disappointing. There's 127 people now. I wonder whether we clashed with another stream, which is why we didn't have enough. Right, what are the what was the votes for another song? Have we got more ones and twos? We certainly have. Right, now the next vote is the next vote is this. Do you want a song that I wrote myself? Give me a 1. Or do you want a cover? Give me a 1 if you want a song I wrote myself. Or give me a 2 if you want a cover. I haven't got New Shoes on acoustic, I'm afraid, Rags. 1 for a song I wrote myself. I mean, I've done a cover of Happy Days. We could probably do them both. We could do 2 songs, I suppose. All right, I've got one we can play. Hopefully it won't screw it all up because I have to change. I think it closes me entropy down. So if you like it, you'll have to super chat me. But let's see if I can play you. I'll play you a couple of songs. Thank you. I know full well who that is. Thank you, Flammadiddler. Can resist the Griff charms no more. I've only turned 50. Hang on. We've got another 50 today. Another one. 50 in the chat for Flammadids. 50 in the chat for Flammadids. He's another one who's hit the bullseye. Come on, you're a pup, mate. You're a pup. Plenty of life to lead. Right, what song am I going to play here? Who wants the one about Patong? Thank you, Flammadiddler. Well, hang on. I'll tell you what. I'll give you one of my own, and then I'll give you a cover. Right, this song was written for. I wrote this song when I was 22, and I had a far superior vocal ability when I was 22. So cut me some slack when I might, the pitching might be a bit tricky here and there. But it's only 4 minutes. So let me know what you think. Oh, God knows how many people we're going to lose here. Then. God knows how many people we're going to lose here. This is always a bit frightening. This is a song I wrote when I was 23. It was about a girl I was with when we realised that we couldn't get through the day anymore without our medicine. That day. The day we realised it wasn't leisure anymore, it was medicine. So let's have a look. Tell us what you think. But like I say, it was written for a boy of about 22, 23, not 48. So it might be a bit of a struggle. Oops, let me make sure I've got that audio on. This is so frightening because those people watching are going to plummet. I know it. Here we go. Let me know what you think in the chat, because believe me, I'll be reading them. Believe me, I will. All right, there. I wrote this song about 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago, during all that Crack Diaries time. It was written. Don't forget, I've got no setup here. I've got the same mic I've got now, and that's recording the guitar and the voice. I'm making excuses, aren't I? I should really just crack on. For a person with a lot younger vocal abilities without years of abuse. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but nice song. If you play an instrument, go and give it a crack at improving it. Oh, it's a pleasure to sing though, if challenging. I'm no vocalist. Have you noticed? Here we go. Straight up, I'll find a lover of some kind. I've lost is the rest of loss. Here's the mess. Fed up, down the line, I'm down the drain, underground. Can you carry me? Can you hold me? We all live alone. We all live alone. Straight up, I'll find a riot of some kind. I've lost. Here's the mess, and I've lost. Here's the rest. Will you and I matter? Will we survive? 'Cause I've never felt so ready to die. Will you and I matter? Will we survive? 'Cause I've never felt so ready to die. We all live, yeah, alone. We all live alone. Dreaming of Narcissus, thinking of you. fucking mute. Sorry, language. What I was saying was, it's lovely to read your comments. It's difficult to be nice to men when they're being honest and sentimental, and it's very nice to hear people saying nice things about them. I'll play you another cover, and you might like this one, and then we'll call it a day. But I'll play you a cover, another cover, and it's in a similar theme to Grease, the Grease song I'd done earlier. The interesting thing about this one is when you realise what it is, and it's a very happy song. It's a very happy song, but once you give it the Dangerfield edge, it's as melancholic as it gets. And when you've turned the music, when you've turned the happiness of the music into something very melancholic, and yet the lyrics stay the same. The lyrics are almost battling with each other. Is this fun? Is this happy? Or is this maudling? And the problem is, if you're confused between happiness and maudling, that's madness. That's what madness is. So I'll give you a little blast on this, and you can tell me what you think. This one might go on a bit. Oh, it's only 3 minutes, but I might drop a bit out towards the end. Just give you a verse and a chorus. Thank you, Ian. That was very kind of you. Here we go. So this is one of my favourites, actually, of my covers. I've done more of my own than I have covers, but there's a couple of songs like the Grease song that I love. And I love this song. I've loved it since I was a child. But to be able to cover it in a way that put my stamp on it took a lot of work. So I hope you enjoy this. I really hope you enjoy this. Once you realise what it is, that's when you're going to get that moment of schizophrenia, when you're going to be like, well, hang on, this is jolly. This is damn jolly murder, if you know what I mean. So let's give it a bash. This is a bit rough around the edges. Cover. You might like it. tells me when I hold you. Feels so right. Come me wrong. Rocking and rolling. Oh, we these days happy and free. These days share them with me. So if you didn't work it out, it was the theme music to Happy Days. I think a few of you got it. All right, last one. This is my favourite, and they all change. You know, your favourites change, but this is the favourite of my own songs that I don't know. Actually, the one about Patong I quite like. No, it's not going to be that one. It's going to be the different one. This is called The Pharmacy Owner's Daughter. And this is probably my favourite of the songs I've written myself over the last few years. And then we'll wrap it up. But it's been a nice stream. I hope you enjoy this because this is a bit of a favourite. People talking about the echo. It's a reverse delay. You record the vocal and then you put the vocal backwards. Then you put a delay, an echo on the vocal, and then you put the vocal back to normal. So you get the echo in front. So if the word is hello, you make that backwards so it goes ula, and then you put the echo on it. So it goes ula, 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 ula. But then when you turn it all back round, you get hello, 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 which kind of sounds like the police are coming, but that wasn't my intention. This is only a 2.5 minute track, but let me know what you think because it means something to me because I like you people. And then we'll wrap it up. So this is called The Pharmacy Owner's Daughter. Hang on a moment. There's too many things open which might cause problems later. It should be all right. Okay. Pharmacy Owner's Daughter. Here we go. First a creak and a cry. I broke my neck trying to watch my back. And I feel like a winner here. Though I watch you leaving by the back door. Through the congested veins of love, I pass without the slightest touch, and I feel like a winner here. Though I do not need that I came here for. I didn't mean to puke on your wedding album. I was robbing your house, and it just sort of happened. And I think I'm a winner here. Thanks for your yap, 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 and fuck all else. Sing to me, do not sing to me. Touch me, I'm filthy, put yourself inside of me. And I feel like a winner. I feel like I collect shells for the pharmacy owner's daughter. Okay, people, it's been a lovely couple of streams today. I was reading what you were saying, much appreciated. I like the what by one you mean the whole EP. I am going to I'm going to lead us out with another one of mine, but I will put all the comments on the channel. And the reason I'm going to lead us out with this one is because I've played it before and people really loved it. It's a bit of a classic from people who were watching the stream about 2 years ago. So I am going to lead us out with this one. And I'll put the comments on the screen. Thank you. Let me just check. There weren't any more entries. Jez done his. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We've had 2 classics today. We've done some reading from Bukowski. This morning's stream was brilliant. If you can share this morning's stream around places, you know, just put them on comments on other people's videos and things. We will get some new subs off of that one this morning for sure. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to put your comments on the screen like I usually do when we play with the Mandom one. This song, I'll give you the little bit of backdrop. As you know, I had one of the most important romances of my life with a girl out in Thailand, and every time I had to leave, I just didn't want to leave. Of course not, because I had a girl, spoiler alert, who kept me alive, who saved my life 3 times in Thailand. And so I'm going to play you that. I'll put your comments on the screen, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your donations. Thanks, Moslab, for looking after the place. Thanks for everyone for sitting through reading Bukowski. And this morning's stream really made me happy because it was very good. I enjoyed it anyway, and you lot seem to as well. So I'll see you in the morning, and we will play out to this. But tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about the streams or whatever, and I'll put the comments on the stream. And fuck, did I do the audio? I'm going to have a word with them about this because this is getting ridiculous. It's this tiny little square the other side of the page, and it's just madness. I will see you in the morning, you lucky bleeders. Ta-da! I wanna be a Siamese cat. Flip-flops, suntan, Xanax, and an Adidas hat. I wanna drink gin in the moonlight with horse on the street near the beach. I wanna do things like that. I wanna hang out with the girls. Nook, mook, noi, joy, nong, wa, chum chiri, bang, cham, per, yim, ya ya. And other girls like that. I never wanna get that plane. Pack your bags, say goodbye, taxi to the airport. It's overwhelming, I'm leaving the womb, I don't like this feeling. I never wanna do that. 'Cause I wanna be a Siamese cat. See you in the morning, you lucky bleeders. Thanks for everything. You've all cheered me up today, and believe me, I needed it. Take care.